Marilyn Hoffman, and I am your child's second grade teacher. I know that this is not ideal, and I feel like I'm going to be giving you a ton of information, and you don't have the opportunity to ask questions while I'm speaking. So that really stinks. But as I'm talking, please write down your questions and email them to me, text them to me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. So I'm sorry that it has to be this way. I'm just going to go ahead and give you a lot of information. Don't be intimidated. It's going to be a great year, and feel free to ask any questions. So first of all, this is my family. I know that you can't really see too well. I'm married to my husband Tom for 19 years. We have a 16-year-old son who is driving, so please pray for me. We have a 13-year-old son who thinks he knows everything, just like all 13-year-olds, so please pray for me. And I also have a 9-year-old daughter who's in 4th grade. She's the baby of the family. So this picture's a little outdated, but that's who I am. I graduated from Temple University with a Bachelor's of Science in Elementary and Early Childhood Education. I am a children's book author. My daughter was actually born with a limb difference. She's missing fingers on her hand. And so I wrote 2 books about her, and occasionally I'll visit another school and be the guest author at that school. And the money that I get from the books, I donate to Shriners Hospital, which is a hospital that takes care of children with severe difficulties. My daughter's is not so severe, praise God, but Shriners Hospital helps us a lot. My experience, I have a ton of experience teaching. I started here actually in college running the summer camp, and then I taught the preschool. I taught from 2-year-olds all the way to 8th grade in Philadelphia, and I have taught every single grade in between, but 2nd grade is my absolute favorite. It has a special place in my heart. I love the age of 7 and 8-year-olds. They still love the teacher. They love learning. They're still really kind, and they're just a great group of kids. And yet, you know, they can tie their own shoe and wipe their own noses. So it truly is my favorite grade to teach. I have many years experience teaching 2nd grade, but just here I came back for 5 years. This is my 5th year back teaching 2nd grade, and I'm loving every second of it. So that's a little bit about myself. I wanted to start off sharing rules and consequences. We have 3 basic rules. Be kind and respectful to teachers and principals and all the adults that enter the building. Number 2 is be kind and respectful to each other. And number 3 is be respectful of our property. We want to take care of, you know, the things that God has blessed our school with. So we want to respect the things that we have. As far as discipline, very simple. They get 3 warnings. After the 3rd warning, I'm sending a note home to mom or dad. After the 2nd warning, they have to sit about 5 minutes at recess. I really don't like to take recess away from 2nd graders, but occasionally that is the consequence that we have to have. But if you're getting a note home about behavior, know that I have talked to your child multiple times. This isn't like just one time they're messing up or they did something really bad. This is, I've talked to your child several times. Please have a conversation at home. Please have a consequence at home. But we're a small class. I don't anticipate it ever getting to that, but if it does, if your child gets a note home about behavior, know that it was a really rough day for them, because I have a ton of experience dealing with multiple different behavioral problems, and I even am a mom, so I discipline my own children. So if you're getting a note home, know that I've done everything possible to handle the situation. We have star charts. If they're really, really good, I give them like a little star, and once they accumulate so many stars, they get to pick a treasure from the treasure chest. And also we have competition between rows. When they work together as a team, the child's row can earn a point, and the row that has the most points at the end of the week gets candy on Friday. So that's an exciting thing. I wanted to share with you about folders. Your child has two basic folders. The first one is the homework folder that looks like this. This is a folder that you have purchased, and it goes back and forth every day to school, Monday through Thursday. And in it, you'll find their homework, which is usually a math page and a spelling page. Now I'm going to talk to you about spelling in a few minutes. So it's only 2 assignments every night and an occasional study sheet. If we have a social studies test, I like to send home a sheet so that the kids can study. But that's the homework folder. The other folder, and probably the more important one, is the Friday folder, and it looks like this. This is the orange folder that I have provided, and in it you will find the child's classwork, all of the classwork that they did during the day, and then also any kind of important notes from me, from the office. Newsletters will go in here, field trip permission slips will go in here, reminders, book orders. This Friday, there were some important notes. It's really important that you sign it. This is my main communication, that I know you have received the important information that I'm sending home. I want to make sure that you've seen their test grades. I want to make sure that you've gotten notes from the office. So if you sign that, it shows me that, yes, you did get all of the stuff out of the Friday folder. Because occasionally kids, they'll realize they forgot to get it signed, so they'll just take all the papers out, shove it in their school bag, and then hand it to me. Well, if it's not signed, I don't know that mom or dad saw the stuff. It's really important that you sign the Friday folder and then return it empty. Anything that goes in here can just stay at home. Of course, unless it's something that needs to be signed and returned, like a permission slip for something. But in general, everything stays home, folder comes back on Monday. So those are the 2 main folders that you're going to be seeing. You should check the homework folder every day. Occasionally I'll send a note home or a reminder about something that's happening the next day. So you still want to check the homework folder every night. But for sure, the most important information is going home on Fridays. Speaking of homework, I told you you're going to have a math sheet every day. Homework is never meant to be frustrating. It should never stress a child out. If your child doesn't understand something, they can bring it back to me and I will work with them. I never send new information home for homework. It's always something that we've already learned in class, and it's a review for them, and it's also to let you know what we're learning in class, okay? Homework will also be a spelling. I think that this is new for you. You're going to get a spelling list in your folder every week. This list, some people like to keep it in their folder. Some parents like to put it on their refrigerator so that they can practice with the kids at home. It's yours to keep wherever is easiest for the child to practice their spelling words. Their spelling homework looks a little different this year. We call it spelling tic-tac-toe. And what it is, I actually have it on PowerPoint, you may be able to see it better. It's 9 rows of activity, 9 squares, of activities. The child only needs to do 3. So they might choose a block to do on Monday and maybe Tuesday. And I know that Wednesday, a lot of people have things going on, so maybe they don't do a block on Wednesday, and then on Thursday they do the last block. They need to do 3 in a row. 3 down, 3 across, 3 diagonal. It's 3 assignments per week, okay? So you do your math sheet and 1 square a night, okay? You only have to do 3 because I know kids do ballet and they go to church on Wednesday nights and basketball practice, that kind of stuff. So I always allow one night for no spelling homework, but that's a good night just to review the words. Maybe while you're at dinner, you can go over the words. On your spelling list, you'll also see a Bible verse. The children are expected to memorize one Bible verse per week, and we do test them on that. So they just have to memorize it. They just have to say it. They don't have to even remember the reference, but they have to remember the words on the Bible verse. I wanted to share with you a daily life in the day of your second grader. Here's a schedule. I sent that home with you. It's in the folder. You can check it. But this is what our typical schedule looks like. They come in the morning. They go straight to Bible with Mr. J. When they come into the classroom, I usually have a review assignment on the desk for them or a preparation assignment for something that they're going to learn that day. So they spend time doing that. This is the time where we collect any money that's sent in and notes for the office. We say the Pledge of Allegiance. We do the calendar. I make announcements at 9:30. We do reading and language arts. And then we have recess and snack. I'm going to talk about snack in a little bit. Then we'll do math. We have lunch, cursive, and then all the specials. And in the afternoon, we'll do social studies or science. We spend a lot of time. I had to change the schedule around this year because it's really important that we keep our classroom clean because of COVID. So we do spend some time, about 15 minutes at the end of the day. I have the children wipe their desks down. They wipe down any pencils that they used. We wipe down our doorknobs, things like that. So I left time in the day to make sure we really keep a clean and healthy environment in our room. So I wanted to share with you also how the work goes. So all week long, the children are doing classwork. And that's what you find in your Friday folder. I'm using Danielle's, I hope that's okay. All week long, they're doing their classwork. And throughout the week, I'm grading it. It doesn't get a number grade, it gets a circle or a star. So if something is incorrect on the paper, I circle it. If the paper is fine, I put a star on it. And on Fridays, when they come in on Fridays, I call it Fix It Up Friday. And the students get all of their work that they did all week long on their desk. And they have to fix all of their mistakes, okay? We learn from mistakes, the kids know that. So anything that's circled on their sheets, they're gonna fix. And then they bring it up to me and show me, and I put a big star on it to let you know that it's been corrected. Now, the work that goes home on Friday, that's what they're being tested on the following week. So the stuff that went home on Friday, all of their phonics and math sheets, the next week they're gonna have a test on that. So if you see papers in your Friday folder that have a lot of circles, you might want to go over it with them again. I already went over it with them again, but it would be helpful if you also just looked over it and make sure they understand all the things that they got wrong. So if you see a lot of red circles, it means your child struggled with it. I gave them a lot of one-on-one attention to help them understand it. And now it's your job at home just to make sure they get it before they come in on Monday, because that following week is what they're going to be tested on, okay? So that is basically how life works in second grade. I really wanted to talk about snack time. Snack time is every day at 10:40. We come up from recess and the kids can have a snack. I am really asking and begging you to send their snack in a separate bag. Please do not send their snack in their lunchbox, because it's so chaotic in the morning when the kids come in, they bring their snack into the classroom, and we see things like this, like they spread their lunch out on the table looking for a snack for snack time. Or some of them even are like sitting on the floor, digging through their lunchbox, trying to find a snack. And we're really trying to keep the hallways clear. We're trying not to have a lot of kids gather. So if you could send a granola bar, a bag of chips, an apple, something separate from their lunch. Because not only does this take a lot of time, food winds up spilled on the floor. The hallways get crowded because kids are trying to dig through and find what kind of snack they want. So it's really important that you pack the snack separately. Okay, this is a snack that we have at 10:40 in the morning after recess, just to get a little energy for the afternoon. So please pack their snack in their book bag somewhere, not in their lunchbox. Please pack their snack separately. As far as learning curriculum, we use the Abeka curriculum. This is the same curriculum as first grade, so the sheets and tests, everything looks familiar to them. Our whole school uses Abeka, so each grade, as we progress, it looks familiar. The information is harder, it's more challenging, but at least they're used to it. It looks familiar to them. There are 3 major projects that we do in second grade. The majority of the work gets done at school. I only need your help with a little bit at home, and sometimes it's just like a costume that you would need to dress your kid in. But the 90% of the project will be happening at school. Grading is very basic and simple. Their grades are their tests. Quizzes, they all get added together and averaged. A test is worth the same amount as a quiz. A project I count 2 times. So if a child gets a 95 on a project, that counts as 2 grades, 2 95s. And so that is how grades are recorded on the report card. That's how I come up with the grade on the report card. Classwork is never graded. Like if they have to do creative writing, that will be a grade, like a test grade for language. But all the grades are test, quizzes, and projects, and writing I consider a test for language. Here's just a little example of some of the projects we'll be doing. We do a reptile and amphibian flip book, and they also create a sculpture. So your child's going to choose either a reptile or an amphibian. We're going to research it together in class, and they're going to create a sculpture of their particular reptile or amphibian, and it'll be displayed, and then they present their information to the class. So this little girl, hers was on alligators. She came up to the class, she taught our whole class about alligators, she showed her sculpture, and then we displayed it in the hallway. We have the Colonial Wax Museum. Your child is going to research a colonist, an American colonist, and then they will dress up, and we set up a whole museum in the hallway, and the child basically acts like a wax figure in a museum, and they teach people about their particular person. This little boy was William Penn. We do all of this in class. We do all the research, the setup. All I need from you is to give them a costume to wear, and I'll definitely help you with that. We also do the celebration of science. Your child is going to have to do an experiment. This requires the most work at home. I provide the child with the experiment. You get the stuff together at home. They practice at home, and then they bring it to class and they do it in front of our class. It'll be weather related because we do this during a unit where we're studying weather. So those are our 3 main projects. Not a lot of work on your part. New this year is our COVID-19 precautions. I am very concerned about COVID. I don't know if you know this, but my husband, he had a quadruple bypass last year, January. We found out he had this heart condition, this genetic heart condition, and he needed to have major heart surgery. So I cannot bring COVID home to my husband. So I'm very strict at following the CDC guidelines here. I know that we hate wearing masks and they're so uncomfortable. I do give the kids mask breaks. If they're by themselves in their desk, they can take their mask off. But if they come up to talk to me, they have to wear their mask. Anytime we're in the hallway, the gym, the cafeteria, we have our mask on. We use a lot of hand sanitizer and hand washing. We are so blessed to have a sink in our classroom. All day long, the kids are washing their hands. They are not allowed to enter the room unless they use some hand gel. And even after that, I send them to wash their hands after recess. I clean daily in this room. I'm always on the doorknobs. As soon as they go to recess, I wipe all their desks down, their chairs, the knobs on our sink, the doorknobs, the window knobs. I can't do enough cleaning. And then water bottles, I really don't want the kids using the water fountain. So if you could send a water bottle in that they can keep here, I would really appreciate it. And if you're more comfortable having them bring a water bottle back and forth, that's fine. But could you bring an extra water bottle to leave here in case they ever forget their water bottle? I know mornings are crazy. I have 3 kids. I have to get out the door. Occasionally, I'm going to forget their water bottle. So if we could have one just to leave here at school, just in case they forget it, I really do not want them using the water fountain. So I'm trying to steer clear from that. The other thing that we're doing is temperature checks. You know that everybody gets their temperature check coming in the room. Well, we're taking temperatures during the day. So before lunch, we'll check their temperature. Before they go into lunch, we just need to make sure that everybody's healthy. And I'm extra cautious because my husband cannot get COVID. It would be very bad for him to be sick. So I'm nervous about it. I'm on top of it. And if your kid has a fever, keep them home, please. I promise that they will be okay. I will get their work to them. I will help them through anything that they miss. But it would be really a terrible thing if I brought COVID home to my husband. So I'm just begging you to, if your kids are sick, keep them home. You can always call me, text me, I'll FaceTime with them, I'll help them through all of their work. So those are our COVID-19 precautions that I'm taking in the classroom and that we're taking throughout the school. In the event that we have to close school, somebody's mom tests positive for COVID, we have to close the school for a couple days. We are going to switch to Google Classroom. That's what that's what Philadelphia is using. That's what Cheltenham School District is using. It's Google Classroom. It's a great tool. I'm going to practice with your kids here so that they're a little familiar with it. But you can also check it out at home too, just to take a look at it. Your child was assigned an email address and a password. That came home in the Friday folder, and it looks like this. It's bright orange. It's bright orange. And put it somewhere on your refrigerator in a drawer where you're not going to lose it, because if we were to shut down tomorrow, it will be really easy for me to continue teaching through Google Classroom as long as you have this information. I will send an invitation to the email address I provided for you, and you'll be able to get in using the password. Our class has a code, it's on the back of there, in order to use the classroom. You can use it on a phone, you can use it on a laptop, a computer, a Chromebook, a MacBook. We can use Google Classroom anywhere. So as long as you have access to some type of technology, you're not going to miss a beat in 2nd grade. Those are like the main things that I really wanted to share with you. We'll definitely talk more about this Google Classroom stuff if we ever need to use it. Pray that we do not need to use it, but if we do, I have it set up and ready to go so that they will not miss any major schooling. This now is usually the time where I would take questions and answers. So if you have them, please email me, text me. I'm very flexible. I'm a mom. I know what it's like to send your kid to school and not really feel like I know what's going on. So I want to support you the best that I can. And since we can't ask questions, since you can't be here, I was going to just give you a little tour of our classroom. Just so that you can see, since you're not normally here. Over here we have our lovely sink. We wash our hands all day long. Here we have Skittles. You probably heard about Skittles. Skittles is our pet turtle, and the kids love to take care of her. We have in this little tank, we have some toads. I love nature. We have a house in the mountains, and so I'm always bringing fun little creatures in for the kids to check out. So right now we have toads and we have Skittles, our leopard tortoise. Over here is my desk where a lot of my work gets done. I meet with kids one-on-one here. Here is where the back table, where I meet with kids one-on-one also, or small groups, 2-on-1, and we do reading activities, math games, math activities. In case you haven't noticed, our classroom is a jungle of learning, and each month I pull out a new animal for us to study. Right now we're studying elephants, and anything that has to do with elephants is added to the curriculum. It's extra. Here's our mailbox. These are where the kids' folders are kept and their supplies. We try not to share supplies in our classroom because of COVID, so everybody has their own box of supplies. Here we have some of our jungle friends. This is our behavior chart where you have 3 chances, and here are some fun things that your kids did. I love the self-portraits and they drew their little masks. So these are just a fun way that I like to display their work. We have in this box our tablets. We have one-to-one technology, so the children each have their own tablet for when we're doing research. And these are some robots. The kids are learning to program the robots and get them to move around on their own just through programming. In here is our reading jungle with Priscilla, the gorilla. Kids come in here one at a time. Usually I let 2, but because of COVID, we're only having 1 person in the reading jungle at a time. Here's our classroom job chart, and then over here is our calendar where a lot of learning happens, and then of course we have the whiteboard, and that's our classroom. So